Welcome to Star Citizen and the Gentleman News. The first version of Orizon on Crusader. With the first impressions of the gas planet Crusader and its landing zone Orizon, we get already in advance first wonderful glimpses of the last missing city in the Stanton system. It should be noted that the cloud tech shown here is not yet a final version, but the first implementation in the game. This technology will continue to be expanded and improved in several stages, whereby the currently shown impressions, already in this form, have a very impressive and atmospheric effect. The entire visuals is dominated by the used pastel tones as well as soft color variations, generating a visual calm and peaceful atmosphere. But let's take a detailed look at the material known so far. The design as well as the entire look of Orizon appears perfectionist, extremely well thought out and inviting. It is not for nothing that this is one of the tourist centers in Star Citizen, which automatically become clear as soon as you notice the many details and the excellent lighting atmosphere. Therefore, in addition to tourist attractions such as the possibility to experience the space whales with a tour, we also find the production facilities of Crusader Industries, which we could already experience through the recently released ship series of the Starlifter and the Star Runner series. And since dedicated tours for whale watching have been announced and corresponding collection points have already been implemented, the space whale can't be too far away. At the current state, the first thing that stands out is the enormously detailed environment, as well as a greatly expanded and improved lighting atmosphere. Particle effects, butterflies and fireflies are the reason for this, especially at night, giving the game a very unique style. Orizon at night is therefore one of the visual highlights in the verse. But also the appearance of the inhabitants is different from what we've known so far. Here we find an elite who appear through stylish clothing and rather distinguished appearance, which clearly shows that this cloud city is more like an utopia than an industrial planet for less wealthy classes of the population. Various floating platforms as well as residential complexes from a partially interconnected collection of floating design objects, which together form the Cloud City Orizon. In contrast to the train connections known from other capitals, Crusader takes a different approach here, in that we can use flying shuttles to get to the various individual platforms. Thus we have access to infrastructure, which in the first version of Orizon is mainly limited to the spaceport and the living area. However, there are of course also areas that serve industrial and non-tourist purposes. Among them are refinery complexes, shipyards, and various maintenance and work areas. Another interesting detail is that, depending on the type of ship and its structural integrity, we can advance closer to the planet's center, all through the pressure conditions ultimately prevent us from advancing too far into Crusader. The landing zone Orizon, on the updated version of Crusader, will find its way into the persistent universe with version 3.14, Although the question of the whereabouts of the space station Port Orizon has not yet been conclusively resolved. It is known, however, that Port Orizon will also undergo a complete overhaul and will lose its previous platforms. The consequence is an adaptation to all other primary space stations, whereby Port Orizon will also have different hangars and pads as a logical consequence. However, the characteristic ring shape will presumably be retained in large parts in order to keep Port Orizon's characteristic look. And since with Crusader the last remaining main planet in the Stanton system will be implemented, it is again only logical to bring another system into the game next. Therefore, it remains exciting what the year 2951 will still offer in Star Citizen. After the last implementations and clear progress, I am positive. Power Management version 2, the previous Capacitor gameplay. There was also news about the Capacitor gameplay, which is called Power Management version 2 for the time being. Here we could analyze the first implementation into the ship HUD, the Aegis variant. After there were some details to discover, we analyze step by step all the information and take a closer look at the power management. First, we take a look at the power distribution options. Here we have the option of dividing our limited and from the rest of the ship's energy-independent capacitor energy pool into 3 different areas, where we can focus thrusters, shields, as well as the weapons, or as here in the default setting, distribute evenly. In the next section, we will go into the new energy system of energy weapons. Because here far-reaching changes are on the way after our energy weapons have a limited and regenerative pool of energy, which offers only a limited number of shots, whereby after emptying this energy pool, energy must be regenerated again, which brings a temporal and tactical component into the space combat, and thus makes a strategic use of our fire sequences necessary. So we no longer have the possibility to go into a continuous fire mode with energy weapons in order to deliver unlimited energy here. Instead, we have an energy ammunition for energy weapons, which is permanently regenerative but requires a planned use. If we pay attention to the weapon display, we see various numbers that indicate the remaining and maximum shots of our laser repeaters, which must be recharged after consumption in a fire pause. The recharging process is indicated by a charging symbol next to the maximum number of shots. Please note that it is not necessary to shoot a complete available energy to recharge, but a short fire break is sufficient. It can be assumed that recharging is possible more quickly if we have not completely used up our energy. Furthermore, we find a display of our remaining boost energy in the left area, as well as the utilization of the thrusters, so we can see when the thrusters reach an overcharge area and how long we still have the energy for the afterburner. And by focusing the capacitor energy, we can influence how much additional energy is available to the individual system areas, allowing us to set our focus. I'm looking forward to the new combat system. The Missile Operator Mode. With the Missile Operator Mode, which also enters the game with version 3.14, this area is also fundamentally revised. As a pilot, we have the possibility to switch from weapon mode to missile mode and thereby target our opponents with missiles and torpedoes under fire. In addition to the UI in the HUD, the trajectory and the general missile and torpedo gameplay has also been revised. It remains to be seen to what extent these changes have a positive or negative effect. But this mode should also be available for co-pilots or other dedicated stations, which would represent a real added value. And to the change in the scanning system, we come in the next point. The new radar, scanner and ping system. The scanner gameplay, which also comes into the game with 3.14, has also been fundamentally reworked, and we see here the first apartment improved, and that a marked target or a scanner target is clearly highlighted by an optical outline, even in the dark. This is a clear improvement, which has been a part of Elite Dangerous for quite some time. But also the system for scanning and finding degradable materials has been improved, so that we no longer see large squares but individual detected points, which can also be determined in different sizes. Other areas, such as the ability to use radar shadows, long-range scanning and other areas are also expected soon, but have not yet been addressed. In this area, however, some new gameplay can be expected. The Constellation Taurus. With version 3.14, the Constellation Taurus, the last of the 4 constellation variants, will be implemented in the game. The Taurus is characterized by its enormous firepower, similar to the rest of the Constellation series, but has an extended cargo capacity, which is expected to be around 200 SCU. However, the Taurus loses the Snapfighter of the other versions. And after we could also see the extended HUD, as well as the new pilot controls of the Constellation series, we analyzed these again in detail. Here we find additional controls on the right and left side of the MFDs, as well as details on upcoming features and functions again. For here, I would like to point out the option to actively deactivate the ship's transponder, which will probably have a significant impact on long-range detectability and should be especially interesting for criminal activities. Two dynamic events as well as the surrender mechanics. As we already reported in the last Gentleman news, 2 dynamic events will be available in the game with version 3.14. The Xenos Red Remastered represents here a longer-term event, whereby the individual phases will be continuously playable in one piece, whereby the focus lies here in the PvE area. With the Ninetales lockdown, there will be a shorter-term PvP event which clearly focuses on the fight player against player. And with the Surrender version 1 mechanic, we can give up, but still come directly to Clasher. I hope you liked the video and leave me a like and maybe even a subscribe here. With the version 3.14, the stand-in system is first completed, because with Crusader also the last of the main planets come into the game. Here, the conclusion is obvious that we will then focus on other systems like Pyro or Nyx in the future. But what are you most looking forward to into 3.14? Crusader, Orizon, the Taurus, the new power management system or the missile gameplay? Write it in the comments or in the Discord. The most important as always in the end, a big thank you to all Patreons, channel members and Twitch subscribers. You are a huge motivation, and without you the whole thing in this form would not be possible. Thank you for your support, guys, you definitely rock. And of course there will be extensive giveaways again, ships, subscriber items, millions in Alpha UEC in-game and much more this month. In the Twitch live streams, on YouTube, in the Discord and for members again extra. And with the announcement trailer for the giveaways, I say goodbye until next time, see you soon and see you in the verse.